We've all heard some version of it. Be more confident and you'll make more money. Like confidence is a switch that you flip and then your bank account starts behaving itself. And look, to a point, I agree. More confident people do make more money. Why? Well, confident people negotiate. Confident people take risks. Confident people speak up. Confident people go for promotions. Confident people charge more. So on the surface, it makes sense. But I want to challenge the way that this idea is usually promoted. Because for a lot of people, it becomes yet another thing to beat themselves up with. I'm not confident, therefore I'm falling behind. I'm never going to earn as much as I should do. I'm not earning enough, therefore something's wrong with me. I need to work on my mindset, therefore I should feel confident before I take action. And that's where it gets messy. Because if you're waiting to feel confident before you do the thing that would increase your income, you can end up stuck in a loop for years. In this episode of Let's Talk Confidence, we're going to talk about the real relationship between confidence and money. Not the motivational poster version, not the clickbaity version, the real one. The one that actually helps you take action, build momentum, and stop relying on a feeling that comes and goes like the weather in Britain. Welcome to Let's Talk Confidence, the first and last place you need to go to build long-lasting confidence. I'm your host and coach, Josh Sutton. Please do give the podcast a like, follow, drop a review, and share this episode with someone who keeps telling themselves, I was just a bit more confident, then I'll be earning more by now. Helps us grow, and it helps more people build a confidence that actually lasts. All right, let's dive in. Does confidence really make you more money? We've all heard the phrase thrown around like it's some universal law. Be more confident and the money will follow. As if confidence is this like visible performance. You know, chest out, shoulders back, strong handshake, assertive voice, no hesitation. As if people who earn are just, louder, bolder, more dominant versions of everyone else. And if that's the case, it leaves a lot of people quietly thinking, well, that's not me, so maybe I'm just not built for more. But that idea is deeply misleading, and for a lot of people actually quite damaging. Because it suggests that confidence is something you need to either comfortably have in place beforehand or magically generate from thin air before you're allowed to progress financially, rather than something you can build deliberately, internally, incrementally. The truth is, confidence does play a role in money, sure, but not in the way most people think. The confidence that actually changes your financial trajectory isn't loud or performative or externally impressive. It's identity-based. It's internal. And most importantly, it's within your control, regardless of what's currently in your bank account. We need to separate two very different kinds of confidence that often get lumped together. The first is what I'd call outcome confidence. This is the confidence that appears when things are going well, when you've just landed a client, when the promotion comes through, when the raise hits, when the business finally clicks, when something external happens, you go, yes. It is real confidence, but it's very dependent on the situation. If things are going well and you're riding high, then great. When things are tough, then the confidence vanishes. This isn't sustainable confidence that's going to make us richer, both in the financial sense or otherwise. It's nice, sure. But if you keep chasing this, you'll forever be chasing outcomes that never quite match up to reality or expectations. The second type of confidence is identity confidence. This is far quieter. It's not as dependent on external success. It's not quite sexy. It's the belief that you trust yourself to make decisions, to handle discomfort, to cope with rejection, to adapt when things go wrong, and to stay engaged with the process long enough for results to compound. It's confidence in knowing who you are, what you stand for, what your values are, what's important to you, what you want. This is a long-lasting, true confidence that isn't there 1 second and gone the next. Outcome confidence feels good, sure. But identity confidence changes behaviour. And this behaviour is what changes your income ultimately. And this distinction matters because most people often learn to chase the outcome confidence first. You wait to feel confident before you act. You wait until you're sure before you ask more. You wait until you feel ready before you put yourself forward. And look, I get it. It certainly makes life easier. Asking for a raise when you've done years of essentially free work is far easier than when you think your work is just starting to reflect the value that you bring to the company. Telling yourself that you'll ask that guy or girl out when you feel ready, it's a lovely illusion to fool yourself with. Because that readiness never actually arrives, you stall. You hesitate, and you mistake hesitation for responsibility. Overthinking for preparation. Caution for intelligence. And in the meantime, you stay exactly where you are, financially, professionally, and wondering why confidence never seems to show up for you. Identity confidence flips this entirely. It says, I don't need certainty to act. I just need to trust myself. And that shift alone is one of the most powerful financial accelerators there is. Think about where money actually comes from in real life. I don't mean like the Bank of England. It comes from decisions, from conversations, from boundaries, from tolerating uncertainty, from choosing long-term gains over short-term comfort. None of those require this loud confidence. They require internal steadiness. Take asking for a raise, for example. The biggest barrier is rarely a lack of skill or value. It's the fear of rejection, the fear of being judged, the fear of rocking the boat. People without identity confidence experience those fears as threats to their self-worth. So they avoid the conversation entirely or approach it apologetically. People with identity confidence still feel that fear, but they don't interpret it as danger. They trust themselves to handle the outcome, whatever it is. That trust makes them more likely to have the conversation in the first place, which statistically increases the chances of earning more over time. This is how it works. The same applies to pricing, career changes, starting a side project, negotiating contracts, or saying no to work that drains you. Identity confidence doesn't guarantee success in any single moment. What it does guarantee is participation. And participation is where leverage is built. People who trust themselves put themselves into more situations where upside is possible. People who don't trust themselves stay in familiar, really constrained environments where risk is minimized, but then, of course, so is reward. And over time, that difference compounds massively, even if both people are equally capable. There's also a huge emotional component to money that often goes ignored. Financial insecurity isn't just about numbers, it's about anxiety, shame, and a lack of perceived control. When people lack identity confidence, they tend to outsource, amongst lots of other things, their control. They wait for permission. They wait for approval. They wait for external validation to tell them they're allowed to move, that they're allowed to aim for more. This creates a subtle but constant sense of powerlessness. And powerlessness is one of the fastest ways to erode both confidence and earning potential. Identity confidence restores a sense of agency. It reinforces the belief that I am an active participant in life, not just reacting to circumstances. That belief changes how you show up everywhere, including how you relate to money. It's also worth addressing the myth that confident people don't struggle, that they don't doubt themselves ever. that they don't feel fear. This is delusion, not confidence. Because in reality, confident people simply have a different relationship with those kinds of experiences. They don't interpret discomfort as a signal to stop. They don't see rejection as a verdict on their worth. They don't collapse internally when things don't go to plan. That resilience is not personality based, it's trained, it's learned, it's a set of behaviours, it's a way of thinking. It's trained through repeated acts of self-trust. Every time you follow through on something you said you'd do, identity confidence grows. Every time you choose alignment over approval, again, it grows. Every time you tolerate discomfort without abandoning yourself or your values, it grows. And with it, your capacity to earn more expands. Confidence comes from doing the things that you say you'll do. It's about building evidence that you are indeed the person that you say you are. I've got a marathon coming up fairly shortly. I originally signed up to it because a friend asked me to, and I thought, yeah, you know what, it'd be really good to do it with him. Great kind of social experiences. I didn't really fancy all the training at all, but I thought, look, it'd be just about bearable with doing it with somebody else, doing a really good friend. 2 weeks before we were due to start a 5-month training program, my friend got an injury that meant he wouldn't be running again for 3 months, let alone training for a marathon. And he pulled out, which left me with a decision. Do I delay it for a year, wait till my friend can do it with me, or do I face a long winter of 3-hour long runs by myself? Well, I've chosen the latter. And I've chosen to do the run for absolutely no other reason than I've already committed to doing it in my mind because I said I would. And that's important to me. My integrity matters to me a lot. I am in no position to coach other people or to lead better lives of increasing their own confidence if I can't even stick to my own word. So I'm doing it. I'm probably not going to have much fun. But I know that keeping promises to myself about myself are one of the most integral parts of my own confidence that there is. Back to this idea of performative confidence. Performative confidence, really the opposite of keeping your word to yourself, can be so dangerous financially, and here's why. Overconfidence without grounding often leads to reckless decisions, ignoring risk, overestimating skill, chasing shortcuts, confusing bravado with competence. Whereas identity confidence is different. It's calm, it's measured, it knows what it knows and it knows what it doesn't. It's willing to learn, willing to ask questions, willing to move forward without pretending to have all the answers. That is humility, not weakness. It's one of the most financially intelligent traits that you can develop. If you zoom out, the pattern becomes clear. People who build wealth sustainably tend to have strong internal foundations. They don't rely on external validation to make decisions. They don't need constant reassurance to move. They don't crumble when a strategy fails. They adapt, they stay engaged, they trust themselves to figure it out as they go. And that trust wasn't handed to them by success. It was built deliberately through action before success ever arrived. So if you're listening to this and thinking, but I don't feel confident yet, that's not a problem. You're not really meant to. Identity confidence isn't a feeling you wait for, it's a stance you take, a set of actions that you're committed to. Choosing to act as someone who trusts themselves even when you feel uncertain, especially when you feel uncertain. And that might mean having a difficult conversation, charging slightly more than feels comfortable, saying no without over-explaining, taking responsibility for your finances instead of avoiding them, making a decision without polling everyone around you for their verdict first. None of these actions require loud confidence. They require self-respect. And here's the paradox that's worth sitting with. Once you build identity confidence Outcome confidence often actually follows naturally. As your actions compound, results appear. And as results appear, your nervous system relaxes. As your nervous system relaxes, you feel more confident. But this time, that confidence is stable. It doesn't disappear the moment something goes wrong, because it's built on who you believe you are, not just what you've achieved. So, does confidence make you more money? Yes, but not because confidence magically attracts wealth. It's because identity confidence, proper confidence, changes how you behave. It changes the decisions you make. It changes how long you stay in the game. And staying in the game, learning, adjusting, and trusting yourself through uncertainty is one of the most reliable paths to earning more over time. If there's one thing to take away from this episode, it's this. Stop trying to chase the feeling of confidence, especially purely for financial gain. Instead, start becoming someone that you trust. Confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you build through repeated acts of self-respect. And that kind of confidence doesn't just make you feel better. It changes what you believe is possible. It changes what you tolerate. It changes how you speak to yourself. It changes what you ask for. And over time, it changes what you earn. That's all for today. If you want to work with me to build that identity level confidence properly in a way that supports your career, your finances and your well-being and supercharges what you can earn in your career and or in your business, then head to joshsuttoncoaching.com where you can find out more. I'm your coach, Josh Sutton. Let's talk confidence.